the BMW X3. Well, it's not really a new model now, but I was thinking, because SUVs are so popular nowadays and everyone has to have them, why not buy an X3 with the M package, so you have something more interesting, more aggressive, which it is. It's very good looking. And then I was thinking, I have to find some negative points as well, and with the more luxurious vehicles that's more difficult apart from the price, but I think I found something with most of the modern BMWs. I have to admit something. The longer I looked at the car, the less I minded those nostrils. At least with the X cars. The other models, on the other hand... Another interesting little thing, if you buy a Volkswagen Passat, which nobody buys because it's not an SUV now, you get 215 tires. Which is okay, you know, they're not too big, they must be a bit eco. But let's see what kind of tires the BMW gets. Well, the front has 245s. And then you've got these aggressive lines because of the M package, I like that. And at the back, well, it's not the same, it's 275. And you know what? I love the giant tires. Of course, if you do get them, get ready to pay a premium when it's time to replace the rubber or especially the alloy part. If you've been going up and down the video, you haven't started from the beginning and you didn't read the title, this is not an X5, this is an X3, even though it does look pretty huge from the side. I like it. Now, of course, it's got the hands-free opening of the boot or the trunk if you have the key in your pocket. And I have to say, despite the fact that there's a lot of space for the rear passengers, there's actually quite a bit of space for luggage. And it's got the optional, well, cargo thingies. There's another thing I really like with this car. If you look down here, because it has the M package, it's got these massive exhaust tips which look really aggressive, and then when you look at it from the rear, it's also got these ginormous tires. The video doesn't really do it justice, but trust me, your neighbors will be jealous. The Test X3 had some nice leather inside, digital instruments as standard, and some really lovely wood inserts on the doors, the dashboard, and the center console. This wouldn't be a BMW if it wasn't full of technology. 360-degree cameras, hill descent control, driving profile selection, and navigation that shows you information about traffic on the roads, as well as roadworks and other warnings. The leather seats are optionally heated, but you can also choose ventilation, which I would recommend for summer days. Once again, take a look at the nice wood and how well the buttons are made. They also feel top-notch. For the time being, well, it's still summer, so we still have nice days like these, even though it's a bit cloudy today. But it means that I can stop in this beautiful nature like this and tell you a little bit about the car in peace. Now, the first thing I really like when you sit into the X3 is just the general feel of quality. Almost everything that you touch it feels solid, it feels high quality. And you'd expect it, it's a BMW, of course. But it's just so nice. I love this wood on the doors, on the dashboard. There's not too much of it, and it's not garish or something. It's just very nice and elegant. I love that touch. There's also the soft materials up here. You've got the leather on the doors in this lovely color. And of course the M steering wheel. And I think if you're getting a BMW, you almost have to get the M steering wheel because it's a little chunkier, it's pretty soft, and it's just lovely to use. And of course then you've got all these buttons on the dashboard and on the doors and down here. And I think this is the optional galvanized package or something, which means that all of these buttons are engraved. And not only that, they have such a nice tactile feedback when you press them. It's like, and the engineers went, okay, this is what we want because this is quality. And it is. It's lovely to use. Of course, I also have the panoramic roof over here, which can be opened, and also it's got its little curtain which you can close. So if you do drive in some very hot weather with the sun up above you, you can leave the car parked somewhere and close the curtain, and it won't become a complete furnace. It'll still be a furnace, but not a complete furnace. So that's a nice touch. I don't like it when you get the window or the roof, the glass roof, and you don't have an option to actually close it with something to block out the sun. And if you've watched my Nissan Micra video, then I was complaining about the doors, how tinny they sounded, how weak and light. Not with a BMW. If you close this, not only are the doors pretty thick, if you look at them, you also close them, boom. That's the sound of quality. You can feel that it's high quality, and you can almost feel like, or you can almost hear that you'll be safer or safe in this car. So now we're already driving, and I can talk about this 8-speed automatic, which is good. 8-speed, like I said, so it can be fairly economical, but it's also quite civilized. I don't really have any complaints about it. It's smooth, it's fairly quick, no actual complaints. The only complaint I have, which is not really the transmission, but it's the start-stop system. Usually I don't like start-stop systems because they're overly aggressive. They always shut off the engine when you don't actually want it to shut off, so you always have to shut off the actual system. But with this one, with BMW, it's a bit weird. When you come to a red light, for example, you start stopping, and you almost come to a complete stop, and the engine will shut off. And then if you don't mash the brakes immediately, it'll immediately start the engine up again, because you'll still be rolling slightly, and the computer will say, oh, we're going again, let's start the engine. So you can never come to a normal smooth stop. You have to stop like you've actually just gotten your driving license. Ugh. Let's talk about the engines a little bit. You've got quite a few choices. You've got 150 horsepower diesel, this one with 190-ish horsepower. Then you've got the more powerful ones, and you also have the 3-liter ones. And on the petrol side, or the gas side for the Americans, you've even got more choices, including the really crazy and competition, which I think is just over 500 horsepower, which in a car like this is, that would be crazy. But you know what? It probably wouldn't be that crazy, because already this X3 is really good in the corners. Surprisingly so. I didn't think that it would be this good. It wasn't a case of, for example, the Dacia Duster with a 130 horsepower petrol engine, where I was thinking, I might want to slow down in the corners because otherwise I'll be doing this sideways. No, this is actually really good in the corners. So, if it's really good in the corners, it's probably pretty stiff and uncomfortable, right? Wrong. I was driving along a small road that it's pretty bad. It's got lots of potholes. It's not very nice. And because I take a lot of test cars there, I know for a fact that it can be quite unpleasant. Not in this car. Despite the fact that it's so fun in the corners, it was actually really, really comfortable there. I don't know how, but yeah, if you want to drive it comfortably and quietly, it is fully capable of doing so. It's really nice. That's a big, big plus for BMW here. So the fuel consumption in this car, right now it's 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Which is not bad. I guess it could be better, but it's not bad at all. Of course, we have to remember that this is a bigger, heavier car with a 2-liter diesel. So it's not bad. And it was driven a little bit fast on the highway and a little bit economically throughout, through the cities and such. So not bad, 6.5. It doesn't seem to go up, it doesn't seem to go down for some reason, no matter how we drive. So I'm not really sure what's up with that, but there you go. And the thing is, because this car is so comfortable and so it can be so quiet, it can be deceptively quiet in the way that you're actually going faster than you think you are, which has happened to my colleague. He was driving it, trying to drive it economically. Get this, he was trying to get the 6.5 to go down. So he was driving it very economically, trying to brake as little as possible, try to use the accelerator as little as possible. And what happened was that he came to a town and he didn't brake. So instead of 50, he was going 78. Ouch. So he paid. He was caught by a radar. But there's your life lesson. If you're trying to drive economically and carefully, you'll be paying because you'll be going too fast. But there you go. That's the sort of comfort and quietness that this car can achieve. It just fools you into thinking you're going much slower than you actually are. But of course, if you do want to keep to the speed limits and everything, you've got a plethora of tools for that. You've got a limiter, you've got a radar cruise control. I've got this fantastic head-up display on the windscreen, which is really one of the best, if not the best. It's very large, it's got nice clear numbers, it's always in focus. It's brilliant. You can also control your radio or Bluetooth or whatever on there, and it shows you the speed limit. It shows you your settings for the limiter and cruise control and such. It's brilliant. So yeah. Oh, there's the police talking about them. There they go.
Let me just add that the M competition isn't quite available yet, but hopefully soon.
So, the final question. Would I buy this car? Well, if money wasn't an issue, and I was looking for a bigger luxury SUV that's not an X5 or something even bigger, yeah, definitely. This is a very nice, comfortable, fairly luxurious car. That is an SUV, of course, so you can tell your neighbors, I have an SUV. But I would definitely get the M package, because just look at it. I mean, it's so aggressive. It completely transforms this car.
The base X3 starts at 48,000 euros. If you'd prefer the most powerful diesel engine M40D and practically all of the optional extras, you'll be paying just over 105,000 euros.